the attendees coming in. And also the guide idea is to, we are live now. So we can put our best foot forward. Macro, you in office? Marco?
Yeah, in the office.
All right, great, wonderful. Let's wait for a minute or so and then we'll begin. All right, so Marco, where are you from?
From Italy originally, but lived half in Italy, half in San Diego, and then now I am in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
All right. Yeah. San Diego is an excellent place.
Sure is. Beautiful.
Yes, it is beautiful. I think one of the paradises on earth is San Diego. Ben, where are you from?
New York.
New York. All right.
Yeah.
And Ronald definitely is from the Bay Area. He is not letting me ask that question.
No, I'm from the Bay Area. I'm from San Jose, but I live in Santa Cruz now.
Okay. All right. Cool.
My dad's from New York, and my grandfather's from Italy. So I'm connected to all you guys.
Wow.
Okay?
All right.
And I've been to India. I'm assuming that Amit and your family may be from India, right?
Yes, we are from India very much, and yes, you have India. Yes, I can see in your profile. Excellent. So let's start, guys. I think without waiting for more people, let's start this thing right now. All righty. Good morning, Ben, Ronald, and Marco. Thank you so much for coming over. Marco, let me talk about Marco first. Marco is from Italy, just told me that, but remaining all the other things I know because I've done my work, I've done my homework. Marco graduated from UCSD Radice School of Management with a degree in business and business entrepreneurship. Currently building the fastest growing meal delivery company in Southeast. He's a co-founder of Vibrant Meals. He founded companies like MyCare, Let Me Patrick, and Marco Logic from his own name. And he's actively involved in educating the youth as a volunteer. Super, Marco, great work there. I will now jump to Ben. Ben is from New York. He's the founder of Fifth North Chocolate. He's a TEDx speaker and a social entrepreneur. Ben is named to be named as one of the advocates. He's a very profound about LGBT community, and he is doing a lot of work for LGBT community. And his company has an award for working for LGBT business on enterprise. His company, Ben's company, 5 North, has received a national recognition from Forbes, President Clinton, NASDAQ, and Entertainment Weekly. Excellent, Ben. You got some really good accolades to yourself. Congratulations on that.
Thanks, Amit.
Ronald is partly from New York, partly from Italy, and he's a VP of sales at Steeped Coffee. Steeped coffee is an innovative brewing method of brewing a coffee. That's basically a single serve bag. We'll come back to you, Ronald, on that. What is steeped coffee? How do you do? How do you do it differently? Ronald is looking for partners across the globe to join him in the moment of steeped moment. Honestly, I don't know what is steeped moment. So Ronald, I'm going to start with you. The first question: what is steeped moment and why it is so dear to you?
Well, steeped coffee is dear to me because I've been involved in coffee most of my life. I started right out of Santa Clara University in 1978 in the coffee business. And now I'm a VP of sales for a company that has created an innovative technology to take high quality specialty coffee, a half an ounce per bag per 8 ounces, and grind the coffee using a water cooled grinder so that we don't re-roast it, and then put it in a bag like tea so that you just use hot water. So no equipment is needed. And we have a fully compostable product. taking that moment, we call it, that simple cup, just hot water and coffee, and enjoying the coffee, the smell of the coffee, sitting, meditating on that, and just embracing, like you said earlier, the positive. This moment where I can just meditate and be positive about enjoying this beautiful cup of coffee, simplistically made, fully compostable. We call it guilt-free, French press without the mess. So that's why I love it. And I've been like I said, been in coffee my whole life, and I never found anything as disruptive. So I invested in the company last year, and then left a large company in January and started full time, helping to scale Steeped.
How do you, so you're talking about like coffee, which means caffeine, which people are generally averse to the idea of caffeine and meditation. They're like two different things, right? How are you high on caffeine and still you want to meditate on caffeine? How do you do that?
Well, I think it's interesting. Like a lot of people, like for me, I think you enjoy the smell of the coffee. We capture coffee being freshly ground and use nitrogen to keep it 6 months fresh. So when you open it, it still smells like it was just ground. There's something about smelling coffee. It's, obviously when you first smell it, it's not like the caffeine has an effect on you, right? But we've been raised, in America on coffee, and people love coffee. It's special. It's a social thing. People met around the coffee table, in the kitchen for years, and it's about building relationship, really. So I think you can have a cup of coffee and a little bit of caffeine and not have it affect your ability to really focus on, that social, personal thing. Also, smells and tastes are connected to memories, and oftentimes memories around the coffee table with family and friends is very special. So it can take you to that place of being meditative, even though there's some, caffeine. Now, a lot of the coffee we have is, decaf too, Swiss water processed, naturally decaf. So it doesn't matter whether it's caffeinated or not. It's about that simple cup, that moment, taking that moment, that balance, before you really start your day.
Excellent, excellent. Great to know about the business, Ronald. You want people to go in the nirvana moment through coffee, meditating, having relationship with their friends and families. They can remember your coffee while they're talking and having good conversations. That's excellent purpose to serve with your coffee. Thank you so much, Marco, for coming on board today morning. I will circle back to you in a moment. Marco, tell us something about your business, a little bit more about your business, and what are your focus, online or offline?
That's a great question. So just a little background on us. We're a healthy meal prep company. They're starting to pop out all over the country now, especially during, amidst this crisis that we're having with COVID. We originally started as an e-commerce company back in the end of 2016. And then in 2018, we actually opened our first retail, and then we opened several more retails after that point. And the retail was a very lucrative part of our business, but it came kind of to a crashing stop earlier this year, which has led me to refocus on e-commerce and direct-to-consumer, which has actually been refreshing because it's the part that I'm a little more passionate about, having more of a tech background. So, I mean, in a nutshell, we're making healthy, portion-controlled meals that are gluten-free, dairy-free, and delivering those to a wide range of people within our community. So, I mean, we're based out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, but we have about a 100-mile delivery radius from our central commissary kitchen. And the focus is really just on a balanced, healthy diet. We offer, high-protein meals, we offer low-carb meals, we offer plant-based meals, keto, Whole30, paleo, the whole 9 yards. So that's just a little bit about what we're doing and what we're up to.
So you're getting your customers online, or do you have subscription? You're targeting B2B, B2C. What's the business model?
So the business model is primarily direct to consumer. We did have a strong B2B component. We work with the Blue Shield Blue Cross. We work with Unum, which is another big insurance provider. TVA, which is the local energy provider. EPB, another internet provider here in Chattanooga. Now, obviously, all of these big corporate businesses have shrunk and are operating at a 10 to 15% capacity. So we really, those accounts shrank a lot. So we made up for that by reinvesting back into our direct-to-consumer model.
Excellent. So
and mostly right now, and you asked about subscription. It's mostly it's a weekly rotating menu. So customers come back every week to order. We do have a subscription model though that we're building out, and right now we're kind of manually tackling that by bringing on subscription providers. But we, handle that. It's very high touch.
All right. Which Shopify, Magento, which platform do you use?
We're on Shopify right now.
You're on Shopify. All right. And if I can ask you, what's your monthly traffic or what's your customer base?
The customer base on our email list is about 15,000. I believe we get somewhere between 40 to 50,000 hits a month, which, being a local, we're not a national distributor yet. So, we focus on not even the entire Southeast region yet. Right now, it's primarily Tennessee and parts of Georgia. So we're working on expanding that throughout the rest of this year and building a facility that's 10 times larger than the current one. So that'll help us to extend our reach.
That's great. I'm going to come back to you on the pivoting aspect we just touched upon, from moving from B2B to D2C. But before I do that, let me jump to Ben. Ben has been extremely patient listening to us. And now it's his turn to talk about his ventures, his business, his why. So Ben, you want to understand why are you doing what you're doing?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Amit. And I feel like I'm in great company. Marco, we're also focused on health and really, the healthy consumer who likes to read the ingredient label. And Ronald, we also produce a guilt-free product that goes great with coffee. So I really feel like we're a small family here. But we make healthy chocolate snacks with fair trade certified cacao, fun flavors, bite-sized pieces, resealable pouches. So really an on-the-go guilt-free snack focused around chocolate. Cacao is really the fruit that makes chocolate what it is. So it's the first ingredient in all of our chocolate snacks. And that's really what we like to educate our customer on, is that fruit is really what makes chocolate what it is. And when you choose wisely, chocolate can really be food. So really the why behind what we do is to provide a healthier product to our customer. It's to support farmers around the world and then also celebrate diversity along the way.
So why are you calling chocolate guilt-free? I'm not sure whether Marco would agree with chocolate being guilt-free.
People, I think it really starts with, when you look at chocolate, people feel guilty for consuming it for maybe one of two reasons, or two reasons in total. One being the ingredients. First of all, people always think of chocolate as a guilty indulgence that they maybe shouldn't be eating right now. And secondly, because of oftentimes the child labor that comes behind the chocolate supply chain and the many, many farmers around the world who are impoverished through something like the cacao supply chain. So for those two reasons, people usually feel somewhat guilty about consuming chocolate, and we don't want that. So we wanted to change that.
So how are you changing the ingredients of your chocolate, or so that people are not worried about what they're consuming, like sugar and fat and all of those things?
Yeah, if you look on a lot of chocolate products on the shelf today that claim to be dark chocolate, like there's no legal obligation to claim, whether or not you're milk or dark chocolate with the level of cacao that you have in the chocolate. So many dark chocolates on the market, the first ingredient is sugar. And that to me is not real, true dark chocolate. So many of them are like 30 to 40% cacao, and then milk chocolate is at like 10 to 12%. So we have 72% cacao, which means that, you're getting more of that than anything else in the product. And that, I think, is the most important factor in creating good chocolate that you can trust.
You are selling things online. What platform do you use?
We are Shopify as well. Yep.
Everybody is a Shopify fan, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
So what's your customer base, Ben?
So pre-COVID, 80% of our business was in stores. So we were B2B, selling to specialty gift, gourmet food, small grocery stores, hotel mini bars, corporate cafes, college campuses. And of course, March and April came around and all of that completely dropped off. Really sad, actually. A lot of our customers have closed their stores. Many of them aren't able to pay us. So we still have open invoices from earlier this year, which is painful for a small business as well. Only 10, 15% of our business was online before COVID. And now it's turning into a much higher chunk. So we're trying to focus more on that and see the good that's coming out of that, like better margins.
Excellent. Very good. Uh, Ron, I didn't ask you which platform were you on?
So we're actually using Shopify as well,
Okay.
but we also just before COVID launched on Amazon, which actually has been very successful for us. So we're selling right now on both e-commerce platforms. And then we also have several direct, I guess, B2B plays. Right now, we've developed an office coffee channel and using distribution in a vertical with large buying groups like the food buys of the world. We also, I now have a director of grocery, and we just were chosen one of the innovative products of the year with KeHE distribution in the Midwest. So we're going to be going into up to 3,000 stores in their distribution starting in, it looks like October, November, and December. We just also were blessed to land a contract with a company, Bed Bath & Beyond. So we're going to be on their e-commerce platform. And Cost Plus World Market's bringing us in November to 300 stores. So we're gaining a lot of grocery growth right now as we pivoted out of office coffee since nobody's going to work anymore. And but that's been the season. We've all been in a season of pivoting starting in March 13th, I guess you might say. And that's what we've done. So we have a part of our business model is we actually use our licensed technology and have partners that are coffee roasters across the United States who have been hurt pretty bad with COVID. And we've been a blessing to them and they've been a blessing to us in that they sell more now online, as Ben mentioned. And because of that, they use our product to make a higher revenue off of their coffee product. So they'll take a $15 pound of coffee and turn it into $60 at $2 per pack for 32 packages. So we've been blessed in that, right? But I kind of look at it like there's always, you learn how to pivot, and that's what entrepreneurship's about, right? And that's what we've been doing. So that's kind of an overview of what's going on at Steeped.
Very nice. Excellent. So Ronald, tell me something about the numbers. I mean, pre-COVID and post-COVID, how is the business doing for you? Is the e-commerce increasing? By what percentage?
The e-commerce is growing, but also now what we saw was, had we focused on grocery in October, November of last year versus going into offices where all the coffee's free, which makes sense, right? Because if it's free, the employees are drinking it like crazy and the company's subsidizing it. We would have been positioned in grocery better than we are now, but now we're getting into grocery at the end of this year, whereas we should have been there at the end of last year. But you learn. You look at the numbers and go, wait, office coffee, I mean, billions of dollars goes into free coffee for employees, especially in Silicon Valley, and look at the large centers, New York and San Francisco, Los Angeles. But our numbers are about 35% up right now in e-commerce. And then we're about 30, I'd say we're in our office, in the division where we use roasters, where we package for them, we're 300% year to year over last year. So even in COVID, we've been blessed because we have a contactless coffee. So our coffee is fully compostable. It's guilt-free. And when you open the package, nobody's touched the coffee because it was all sealed and ground. So more people, more hospitals want our product because it's safe and reduces contact. So now as offices are coming back, they want our product. And we've been written up in, thousands of articles over the last year, and specifically with COVID, about having a contactless coffee. So we're doing really well. We continue to raise money like everybody else to expand and grow. We've bought more equipment. We're looking to expand in the East Coast to lower our shipping costs, and just having a lot of fun, but going through a lot of challenges and learning how to build stronger relationships with our team and our partners, because we've been able to help our partners in a difficult time, and by helping them, really they've helped us. So it's like a serving model. We really are out to serve. We're also a B certified company. So we're about the double bottom line. It's not just about making a profit, but it's about people. And we have a giving fund, 1% of all of our revenue, gross revenue, goes to a fund that we give away, right?
Very nice, Ronald. It's a very noble cause. Ronald, one more question, one follow-up question. So on the investor side, which round of funding are you in?
So right now, we finished our seed round and we're going to do a bridge round before we do our A round. We expect to do the A round in the first quarter or second quarter of 2021, but we're out doing a bridge right now of $1 million, knowing that we need that to create additional runway. And I don't think we would have needed the bridge if we didn't have COVID, because our revenue numbers would have been already put us in a place to do our actual A round. We would have had the run rate that we wanted, but we know to get the run rate, we need to do the bridge because we need more capital into the grocery space since it's very expensive
So you did
to shelve product.
you did the bridge, and that's why you have a bridge behind you.
I know, isn't that hilarious? I didn't even plan that. I mean, I can switch the background right now and we could, like go to the Aurealis Borealis, right? You know what I mean? Or Vietnam or anywhere else we want to go. But no, it's serious. We're actually, and we've been chosen right now. We're in a competition with two other companies. We were chosen as one of the three. So we'll be presenting this month. Actually, September, we'll be presenting to raise that additional $1 million. So
Excellent. Very good. So thank you so much for your inputs, Ronald. Marco, tell me something. Which are the most favorite apps you have on Shopify? Which apps do you recommend to people who are on Shopify?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, mainly because I mostly dislike all of them. We were actually pre-Shopify. We were in this weird gap where we came from Squarespace, and we were building our own custom platform. But Shopify seemed like a more natural progression, just because the costs with maintaining and building your own platform, are very high. We do have a specialized product, and it's more complicated to sell our product online because of rotating menus, because of a short shelf life, variance in prices and variabilities in the actual product. But we were using Zapier, which is a delivery and pickup app. We're using Smile for rewards. We're using actually, there's one that I do like a lot, SMS Bump. So that's helped actually increase customer retention and ROI significantly by trying text over email. That's proven to be really effective. And I say that question's interesting because we're actually building our own suite of Shopify apps that are going to be built for our own purpose, but then we're actually going to also offer those out to the Shopify community. Since there are a lot of meal preps coming onto the scene, we figured that would be beneficial for them to have access to more polished and catered, checkout sequences and whatnot.
Excellent. You know what? I will not make your journey to you are in the hunt of finding new apps, and I will love to show you what we got. In Alito, I completely forgot to introduce myself and my company. So since a lot of my clients, you know what? The idea of this webinar was to just have chit chat and understand what you guys do and how possibly people can learn from your experiences. And while I want to understand from your experiences, I completely forgot to introduce myself and my company. So we have a Shopify app, a Magento app, a BigCommerce, WooCommerce app. But apps does a job of 6 other apps which are there on Shopify. So we do a lot of marketing campaigns, email marketing, personalization. A lot of apps which you're unhappy with, a lot of also our clients were unhappy with, and they replaced those apps with our Inalito app. You should go and check it out sometime. We do a lot of segmentation of our customers, a lot of segmentation of products. If you're running, let's say, digital marketing ads, we can tell you which ad to send to which kind of customers and when and how. A lot of analytics, a lot of personalization, predictive analysis, and email marketing campaigns. So if time permits, we will show you sometime, maybe next week.
Yeah, sounds great.
We're gonna be. Let me do a first poll question for you guys. Let me launch the poll and let me allow you to answer it. So all of you have a lot of customers coming online and shopping from you. Do you know which customers you are losing? You can answer. Are you able to answer the question, Marco, Ben?
Are you asking me specifically? We actually have. Our model is interesting. It's very sticky. We have about a 75% retention rate, and people are consuming the product. Most consumers are consuming the product at least bi-weekly. So twice a month. We have different order cycles. Our order cycle is every week, but we offer 2 different options each week. So Monday delivery, Thursday delivery. And most of those customers are on at least 2 of those out of the month. The fall off customers, we know that at least 25% of them are people that are actually moving away. So they move to a different city, and then they actually request and see, whether we ship to them, if they're in a radius or not, or if we know of a similar meal prep in their area that we can, introduce them to. The remaining 75%, we don't really know, what the fall off is there. Some are one-time users, some are tourists or visitors that come into town for a week and actually have meals delivered to a hotel. So there's a lot of different cases there, but that's what we know in terms of that segmented demographic data.
Very nice. So you clearly are saying that you got 75% people coming back to you for 2 meals in a week, right?
No. So the average order is around 8 meals per customer. We offer 2 different fulfillment cycles per week. So
8 meals per month, you are saying?
No, so 8 meals per order. So a customer orders on a weekly basis. So I'd be ordering now for next week, and then maybe skip the week after that, but then order again for the following week. So that would be 2 different order cycles.
Why would somebody skip a week?
Because sometimes they'll mix in. Some customers do still cook at home or do other alternative, whether they're grocery shopping or not. Some clients are, based on schedule because they're setting themselves up for a week that's coming. And in some cases, like a CPA may have a lot of meetings lined up, or, in which case they're usually taking clients out to lunch or out to dinner. So that kind of flip-flops some of the cycles sometimes or it's a budget situation, where they can't afford maybe to order every single week. So they order on a bi-weekly basis or, bi-monthly even.
Marco, are you saying in the US, people are planning their next week's meal today?
Yep.
Wow. Because we don't plan our next week meals today. I mean, if I want to eat something right now, I'll order right now. I'll get it in half an hour. That's how it works in India. I'm not sure. Ben, do you plan your next week's meal today?
Only grocery shopping. Usually I'll grocery shop once or twice a week, and I will plan specifically enough food for 7 days. But not the next week. It's pretty impressive, Marco.
No, that's very impressive. Yeah. Marco, you're able to get your people, you're making people plan their next week's meal today, which is like people in businesses, people who are running great businesses are not doing business planning for next week. They don't have any business plan for next week, but you're making people plan their meals for next week. That's commendable, Marco. That's something.
Well, it's good on a cash flow basis too, because what we're doing is we're receiving incoming cash receivables before we even spend any money on raw goods, because we're always pushing and selling a week ahead of schedule. Now, I will say though that we do, because we have retail as well, we have same day meals, we have same day, delivery meals, we use different courier services. So we do have a catch all, with the retail. So for people that don't really know their schedule in the future, they come in and buy meals. Most customers come in twice a week actually. So very similar to a grocery run, most popular day is Sunday and Monday because people, again, in the US, most people do their grocery shopping on a Sunday or Monday and plan for the rest of that week. So we see the same kind of data in our retail stores.
Excellent. Marco, are you guys funded?
No, we took an initial investment of $15,000 in the beginning to buy our first delivery vehicle, and then it's been all cash flow since then.
Wow, excellent. Very nice, Marco. Marco, so what's the plan for the future? What's your vision for the company? You have, I think, a few successful exits in the past. When do you want to exit this business?
So the difference with this company is we didn't build it with the intent to exit right away. So I worked for a venture incubator when I first moved to Chattanooga that invested in a lot of different companies. I was kind of the COO that would come along and help nurture and grow these different tech companies. There becomes a conflict of interest though when you are stressed by the needs and the desires of the investor and having to report to them versus actually moving and fulfilling your vision of what you want to accomplish. So that being said, our big move now, which will require funding, is to align ourselves and build contracts with insurance companies in the healthcare system, so that we can actually prescribe meal plans to patients based on different, whether it's an operation or a chronic condition like diabetes, cardiovascular issue, inflammation, Crohn's. There's a lot of different chronic diseases that plague the U.S. And that's the majority of what bottlenecks our healthcare system are going to cost, us and the government trillions of dollars. So that is the long-term vision that we're really excited about, because food is medicine. And just like what Ben was talking about too, by focusing on natural ingredients and eliminating all preservatives, we really get back to this basic fundamental nutritional value of meals and ingredients, that if that's how we're eating, we wouldn't need all the medication, that we take nowadays. So that's really kind of where we're positioned. We're working with Vanderbilt on, piloting that and working out all the kinks, and then hoping to roll that out through the whole Southeast.
Very nice, very nice. That's a good vision to have, Marco. I think a lot less entrepreneurs are able to say that I'm building this company is not for selling. I'm not for sale. And having a bigger vision like you have is truly marvelous. Hats off to you, Marco. Great job. So Ben, what about you? So you guys are funded, or you burn your own cash?
We're not. Yeah, we're bootstrapping right now. I started the company in college just a couple years ago, and really just keeping it super lean. We've applied for grants and we've participated in competitions, and we've won a few $1,000s here and there to get us started. But yeah, really bootstrapped, living at home, making it work the best I can.
Excellent.
That's
So
cool.
yes, that's nice. That's very good. I think one of the webinars I was talking to one of these folks in the e-commerce companies, and he was saying, you know what, managing investors is altogether different ball game. A lot of your energy goes there. You think that you're going to get investors' money and everything's going to be smooth from that day. The answer is no. The moment you have an investor who comes on board, you have a boss who you have to report to, and his vision can be completely disaligned to yours. How do you manage his expectation? He might just ask you to me, perhaps he's looking at profitability as well as increasing number of customers, and burn less cash, get more customers, or maybe burn more cash, get more customers, or the expectations can be entirely different. So when we're choosing a business partner, or let's say, or an investor, we have to think what are his visions. We should not just be looking at somebody's money and then the money come in and we will be doing our business. It's very important to understand what's his vision, what he want to do with the money. Great. But you are looking for investment, Ben, right?
Potentially, yeah. We're becoming more investable as we grow and as we scale, and bringing on different partners to increase our capacity. Really, we would increase our capacity. We'd scale so that we can get our price down, and then we could really play in the grocery game. It's a lot of it's pay to play, and we don't have the cash to play. So right now we're growing slowly, but if we really want to jump into the grocery game, then we'd have to pay to play.
In one of the webinars, Ben, they said that one of the guy who's also a Shark Tank winner, 2 days back, I was doing a webinar. He was saying it's very important to build a community. This guy had struck a deal with Barbara in Shark Tank, and he was saying it's very important to build a community. Once you build a community, let's say on Facebook or any social media, you have 40, 50,000 followers. Then if you run social media ads, you run Facebook ads for $200 a day or $300 a day, it can remarkably change your business. So are you a big fan of ads or social media marketing or content writing or SEO? Are you doing any of these?
So we weren't before COVID, because most of our business was B2B. So, most of those were just like building really strong relationships with larger buyers who we could work with in the long run. But now that we are shifting almost completely to e-commerce and direct to consumer, we are starting to plan some ad campaigns this fall. Chocolate melts in summer, so it's super expensive to ship, a logistical nightmare. So we are planning to start really pushing some inventory this fall.
Very good. So coming to Ronald, Ronald, yeah, you definitely have a lot more experience than Ben and Marco. So, what would you advise to people who are venturing into e-commerce businesses? What are the two mistakes that you made which they should not make?
That's a good question. Oh, that's a good question because at Steeped Coffee, when I came on board, we had just a brilliant person working on the e-commerce side. And as the VP of sales, I've been driving all the other verticals. So I've had oversight, but yet the person we had, I think has done a great job. So for me to comment on his mistakes, it'd be hard to because we're continuing to grow and we hit COVID. So our numbers have never been better and they continue to get better. And since I wasn't involved from day one, I was employee number 9. I think we're at employee number 45 now. So it's hard for me to comment on that, honestly. What mistakes do we make? I know we made some, but I wasn't, intimately involved in, contributing to those mistakes. I've made my own mistakes in other areas. So I can give advice on things that I've, failed at and had success in, but e-commerce is not one. I can comment. My son also has an e-commerce business. And when COVID hit, he decided to start selling pogo balls. And those are like those round balls that, kids can jump on, right, and bounce on. And within, I think, 90 days, he created his own Shopify, Facebook ads, and he sold $50,000 of pogo balls in 6 weeks. I started thinking we were in the wrong business selling coffee. And I'm going, wait a minute, what can I learn from my son who he did YouTube videos and learned how to do e-commerce sales. So the reality is I think we can all learn from each other. For me, I haven't made a lot of mistakes in e-commerce, but I've seen that Steve's had a lot of success. And I've seen my son have a lot of success. One thing I will say with my son is he brought another company in to help with selling on e-commerce instead of himself. And when he did that, the sales went down. So sometimes I think releasing control too early can also be a mistake for entrepreneurs when they let other people get involved too early in how they drive the e-commerce, because the entrepreneur is more intimately involved in their own business model and understands it better. They can drive sometimes better the e-commerce than an outsider. That would just be from my observation. Again, not from personal experience at Steve.
Very nice. That's a good learning. So you know what? I was reading a book by Brad Sugars. He was a business coach, one of the best business coaches. He lives in LA, and he wrote a book called Billionaire in Training. And in his book, he mentioned that you don't become, and he's a multimillionaire, and he wrote this book for himself, Billionaire in Training. And he wrote that we don't make money by running businesses. We make money by selling businesses. So we build up businesses, we put the businesses in autopilot mode and we sell them off. But one interesting aspect which Ronald touched just now is that don't be in a hurry, put your business in autopilot. Trusting somebody to take control so soon, don't release control too early. That was Ronald's words. That's a great piece of advice, Ronnie. That's a fantastic piece of advice. Marco, from where do you buy your customers? Are you a fan of social media ads, content writing? How do you get more customers?
We leverage more free product than we do actually paid advertisement. Having been in this space in the past, so through Marco Logic, one of my companies, we were a digital company, selling ads and different products in that space, and whole campaigns that we'd roll out for larger businesses. And it used to be very effective, and it used to be much cheaper to run Facebook and Google ads. it's gotten extremely expensive. And I think the ROIs have shrunk quite a bit. I think people nowadays are looking for a more genuine interaction with a brand. And so that's really what we're trying to build is, like you all have been speaking about earlier, is just building a community, building advocates that will talk about our product, not because we're paying them to, but because the product is good and it's changing lives. So they're going to naturally speak out about it. So we provide opportunities for our customers to do that, through formal ambassadorship or, rewards for referrals. So we've really been growing mostly off of word of mouth, and through discounted product, which is still a cost, as opposed to, Facebook and Google ads. I mean, we maybe have a $400 a month budget that we spend on Facebook and Google, which is nothing. And it does return. It's just, if we were to scale that, I don't think it would be as effective as actually scaling the voice of our customers.
How do you tackle competition?
How do we tag a completion?
How do you tackle competition?
In our area, there are competitors. Nobody is doing e-commerce or has the delivery logistics that we have. So we kind of have e-commerce locked down. Now we do have a larger competitor out of Nashville, and then as you get into Birmingham, there's some other competitors. But everybody's got to eat. So the market size is massive. People are becoming more educated and are learning, especially here in the Southeast. West Coast, there's just a general better understanding of health. Here in the Southeast, it's probably 6 to 8 years behind on different trends and just how to eat well. So really having brought a lot of that knowledge here was part of our moat around the business. And beyond that, the e-commerce, like I was talking about. And there are a lot of mom and pop meal preps that make family style meals, but the focus really isn't on health. It's on convenience and ready to eat food. So ours really is the focus on the nutritional value, and eliminating inflammation, right? Through eliminating dairy and gluten, you reduce the inflammation that your body has to go through. So that's part of the overall moat that our product is.
Very good. Excellent, Marco. Thank you so much. Ben, day before yesterday, I was talking to a guy as young as you, and a lot of people, he said he was a high school guy, and then he was a firefighter for 2 years, and then he started his own company, and he was selling cookie dough, and he's now fabulous. So how do you convince people of your age who are looking at you, want to become entrepreneurs before they're born? How did you come to a decision that enough education, I'm done with education. Now, you know what? I want to go out and kick some ass. What would you suggest to these people? How can they trust their idea? How can they trust their gut? How did you trust your gut? What support you got? These are too many questions, but you can choose any one of them and answer.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I reflect on that part of the journey very often, because it's a tough one. There will never ever be a perfect or right time to launch any idea that you have, or to explore and build any idea that you have. It's never going to be a perfect time. You never have enough money to do it. You never have enough time to do it, enough energy. The timing for the market has to be right. But other than that, you just need to do it, because, I was a senior in college. I didn't have any money or experience. And so those were two very good reasons not to start a company. But they were also, there were also many other reasons that were good to just take the opportunity and give it a try. I also, I started the company for 2 months, and then I moved to Germany on a fellowship with the government, just because it was an opportunity I couldn't say no to. So timing will never be great. But if you have the idea, just start.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So trust yourself, trust your gut. Just go ahead and do it, because there'll never be a better time. So according to me, so you might just think this is not the best time, but there'll never be a best time. You have to jump in someday. You must jump in someday. You must stop. If you are smart, if you're really smart, like all of you folks, you should just do it yesterday. That's great. Let me ask a second poll question. All right. So let me ask this one. This is not a tough one. So do you guys know how much revenue you lost due to cart abandonments? A lot of people come on your portals and they put something in the cart and they say, no, I don't want to eat this. Perhaps Ben is saying chocolate is guilt free, but you know what? I don't want to have even that guilt, which is guilt free. I don't want to have guilt free. Uh, so same way. For example, let's say people change their plans. They don't want to eat share results. So 100% people are saying they they don't know how much revenue they are losing by cart abandonments. It's a very big issue, not just with you folks across the globe. Even Amazon is people like Amazon and Alibaba are also having huge issues. People come put something in the cart and they never buy it. How do you bring them back? How do you make them shop what they bought, what they put in the cart? So Inalito has a beautiful way of bringing people back to buy what they put in the cart. They spend some time on your website and you should not let them go. They put something in the cart, you should not let them go. What strategy should you adopt to bring them back and buy from your website? Our tool Inalito can help you in that. That's about Inalito. Now let me ask Ronald. Uh, Ronald, you chose to get funded. How do you manage your investors?
So what's interesting, our investors came to us mostly by referral, and we decided on the profile we wanted from our investment community. The CEO did from day one, and he hasn't deviated from that. So let's say we have 70 investors right now, and we've raised 3.3 million. That investor profile is aligned from investor A to investor 70. Okay, number 1 to number 70. We have, of course, an interim CFO right now that's been doing 2 jobs, HR and CFO. So now we're recruiting a CFO because we're growing, right? We're at that place we want to prepare for the A round. So the CFO interfaces with managers from several of those investment groups because many of them have a pool of funds, not like a venture capital, but as private investors. But let's say a bunch of private investors will pool their money and have one person interface with our company. And then we do reporting, of course, and then we have people from their organization. We're very, open basically about what we do and how we do it. So they have access to see into what we do. So really it's a relationship again, and we've chosen our investors as they've chosen us. So it's a different investment strategy. I was a registered rep with the SEC. So I used to raise capital. That's part of what I did in my old life, right? Even though I was in coffee my whole life, but in the middle there, I took a break and went out and raised some investment capital. And I learned what that was like to do private Reg D investment. And like you said, sometimes the investors drive the business, but on our side, since we're B certified, they knew that when they came in, that it's not just about stress with them, it's about managing this business and building a model that, like Ben said earlier, it's about having a guilt-free single serve coffee solution to stop waste in our planet, as well as taking care of people. And so in that double bottom line, there's less pressure from investors to do and jump through all these hoops. And I've been on the other side. I've raised money with limited partnerships because I did subdivisions in real estate and this and that. And I know that the investors, when they decide they want out and you haven't done what they wanted to do soon enough, they say, we want you to sell. And you haven't made your ROI and you haven't made your profit because you're the general partner, but they want their money back. And it's like, well, wait a second, we haven't finished the project. We didn't build out the lots, so we didn't make our profits. So I think for us, we have people on those investment teams that interface with us. But because we're aligned in what we want to accomplish as a company, there's less stress, and we're not getting hammered daily from an investment group on ROI. Now, we are having a lot of success, even in the difficult times we've had. So possibly that, lends itself to us not being harassed by our investors as well, right? Because we've done well in pivoting during COVID. So that would be my long answer.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent. So you got 45 people in your team and you got 70 investors.
70 investors so we got 115 now, and then 150 roasters that are our partners and all their employees. And, the main goal right now has been to help people stay in business, right? So a lot of our roasters have struggled because all their cafes shut down. So they had to pivot to e-commerce. They needed us to help them pivot. So we were flexible, like Marco talked about, offering discounts to help them get a new product into their lineup on e-commerce. So it's kind of like when you help and you serve your customers, you grow through serving and helping without the motive being just the revenue, right? So you make less, but you build partnerships. And it's about developing strategic partnerships is how we operate our business on the sales side at Steve.
Very nice. Great. We are about 5-10 minutes to go. We're gonna have 2 rounds, okay? Last 2 rounds. In the first round, I'm gonna let you ask a question to a fellow panelist. Marco can ask Ben can ask Ronald. Any of you want to ask a question for the panelists? Please go ahead and shoot the question. Put them on spot.
Sounds good. Who goes first?
I think let's start with Ben.
Yeah, sure. Hey, Marco, I have a question for you. What were maybe your top 2 challenges in logistics specifically for getting, especially in the beginning when maybe you have fewer customers? When you have a larger number of customers, it might be easier to fill up a delivery vehicle. But in the very beginning, what were the biggest challenges logistically to get your meals out the door?
That's a great question. I'm huge on customer service and trying to deliver the best experience possible. Because we have a product that people are consuming every day, and in some cases multiple times a day, there's a lot of inbound calls or questions. And because we deal with a lot of people that have severe allergies or restrictions, they're very sensitive to a lot of different things. And the issue came about because early on, I was doing the deliveries. I was making the order sheets. I was sending them to production. My wife was the one that was cooking most of the meals in the kitchen with 2-3 other people when it was just, the 4 of us. I would be running the deliveries, but then also have inbound calls from customer service. And I would say that I wish, unfortunately, I'm more OCD and more on the control aspect. What I've learned through the last 4 years is that the sooner that I create a system around something and then delegate that out to somebody, the better experience will be delivered to customers in general. But it takes trust, and it takes me really trusting employees to handle different aspects of the business. So in some cases there were things I was very attached to. Like I enjoyed managing our inbound chat and calls and all that. But ultimately, having hired like an office manager that handles a lot of that and does a little HR and wears a lot of hats, it offloaded a lot from me that allowed me to then go and create more efficiency in the business, build more relationships with partners, grow the business to new markets. So really, I'd say just trusting sooner, delegating sooner. But I don't know if that answers your question, but it was all a process. And I think that's the difference between, had we raised money, we just would have probably learned faster, but maybe at the cost of bigger mistakes. Whereas we've been learning slowly, where now if we were to raise capital, we know where we would spend it and how, because we've figured out kind of, and being in food, all of us really, they're much harder to scale than a service or a tech platform or SaaS, which, at the flip of the switch, you can have 1 customer to 100,000. In our case, if you go from 100 customers a week to even 1,000, that's a significant undertaking on the manufacturer. I don't know if you manufacture your own chocolates or if you're just a white label, you manufacture your product.
We were for a while, but now we work with a co-packer. But
Gotcha. But if you're a co-packer, you can probably scale more easily. But there's demands there that are tricky. In our case, we manufacture most of our product. We do retail some other products. And so that's also tricky, is you can't grow too quickly because then you have a human resource problem.
Totally. Thanks, Marco. Yeah, that answers it.
Very nice. Very nice. You want to ask any question, Ronald, Marco?
Sure. I'll ask, why don't I ask Marco? Marco, now with the technology company that you had, right? The digital platform, do you still obviously use all those skills in your current business? What did you like? What do you like more about this business than your last business? And what would you do different in your last business if you knew what you knew now from your business?
It's a great question. I would say that past experience has allowed me to build this business bootstrapped. Had I not come in with the previous skills from building software, software's expensive to build. We would have had to raise, $100,000 in the beginning just to get going, to build the initial platform and things of that nature. But I think we would have built things wrong. What I've learned on the software side is that you really need to we come with assumptions a lot of times, and being more on the designer and UI UX part of the equation, it's quick. We're quick to go straight to an assumption of how the consumer will interact on a website or what features they might want or need, instead of actually going first to, even if you have 10 customers, listen to those 10 customers, see what they want. What are the changes? They may be, wildly different from what you think is valuable. So I think in the previous world, having raised capital and accelerated through different iterations, there was a lot more waste because we were building things that people didn't really want. And so I wish, without the pressure of financing, I wish we would have learned sooner what customers actually wanted first, and then add fuel to the fire, which would be, financing in this case, to grow and scale, that particular product. And that's something I saw at the venture incubator is, 1 in 10 companies would actually go somewhere, and that's even good for those standards, 10%. So there is, and there's trial, you learn through error. So, in some cases people need to go through that to learn and then pivot with an entirely new product or, different company. But, I don't know if that answers.
No, that's really good. I like the fact too about sometimes we go build something and it didn't need to be built. And all those resources went to it, and you're going, but in my mind, it was going to be a winner. It's like, I could have been a contender, right? I think that's what Rocky said.
Yeah. I have a question for you, Ronald.
Sure.
What's been the most fulfilling part about what you do now versus what you were doing a year or two ago, being more on the, you were raising capital for other entities, or you were, a partner manager for development projects. So kind of what do you like more about what you do now versus before?
I'm really blessed. I'm kind of the senior guy now on our team. We got like the 19-year-olds, and I'm the senior person at the company. So I've made more mistakes than everybody. I've lived longer than everybody, and I get to mentor now, and also, be part of teaching and training others from my mistakes, right? And from my successes, I can pass those on and what's exciting about that for me is that I get to invest in people that are going to be around a lot longer than me, most likely. And giving that away is huge. So that's my legacy, right? Because whatever you make and whatever you have, whether it's in your garage or, in your jewelry box or in your bank account, you're not taking it. That's the reality. But what you do leave is what grows. So for me, this season of my life is about investing in others and growing those relationships. And that's more valuable. I came from Aramark. We were doing $20 billion a year.
Yeah.
I sold, $40 million of new contracts in a 2-year period on a 5-year annualized basis. So I got to run 10 states as a director under the VP there for the whole nation in the refreshment side, Aramark Refreshments out of Philadelphia. So I was a number. I didn't have that personal relationship that I get to have now with the people I work with. There's more peace around what I get to do. I know I can go all the way back to the simple cup of coffee and the meditation, right? But at the end of the day, it's about just being prayerful daily and just loving people and serving them, and I get to do that here. And at Aramark, there was all this stress and all the numbers. And even when you performed, it always seemed like it wasn't good enough. And it's like, it is good enough, because when you deliver in relationship with others and build relationship for a company like Aramark, those people still have relationships with me, and I'm still doing business with them. because I sewed into them and built relationship, not just sold them a product. So I didn't go to them and sell them something they didn't need. I evaluated, like you're doing now, all of you. What do people need? And then I responded by, now I'm providing that. And I did that at Airmark, and I'm doing that now at Steve. So it's about sewing into others, really, that I enjoy. And I get to do that more now holistically than I did before, without, the pressure and stress, like you would say earlier, of having the investor. A company can also be like an investor to a startup in how they treat their employees if they're not building winsome relationships that are submitting and serving from the top up. And that happens oftentimes. There's a lot of condescension in large companies where the people at the top think they're better than the people at the bottom. At the end of the day, the people at the top need to serve the people at the bottom so the people at the bottom can grow to be better than the people at the top. That's how it should be. And that's how we operate at Steeped.
That's awesome. Sounds like there was a much greater spiritual fulfillment, if you will, doing what you do now versus what you're doing before.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks
Awesome.
for asking.
It's a very deep thing what he said. If you ask me, so you know what, all of us entrepreneurs, what we miss in our lives is building relationships. We want to keep selling, keep sell, get more customer, get more money, keep selling, increase the revenue. But building relationship is actually what actually helps businesses grow. Building relationship is one. Second thing that all entrepreneurs like you guys are doing. How can you be obsessive about adding value to your customers? There's a guy called Tony Shays. Tony Shays was selling shoes for women in the Bay Area around 10 years back. And this guy was making losses. He was selling shoes to women online, and women were ordering shoes. They were paying shipping, and they were not liking it. They're shipping them back. And this guy Tony was making losses every time he used to give a pair of shoes to a woman. Now he was sitting idle that day with investors, and Tony was obsessive about adding value to his customers. He said, how can I add value to my customers? So he gave an idea to his investors. He said, you know what we should do? We should let these women order as many shoes as possible, and we will pay the shipping. We will pay the shipping one way and both ways. If they don't like it, we will ship them back at our cost. And investor was like, Tony, are you crazy? I mean, we are already burning so much cash. We're making losses. Are you crazy? He said, yes, we're already burning cash. What can go wrong? Let's do it for 1 month. Let's try it for 1 month. Let them order as many shoes as possible. Let them try the shoes at the comfort of their homes and let them do it. We will pay the shipping. And the investors reluctantly agreed to Tony. In about a month's time, the business changed. And then rest was history. Tony Shays' company was bought by Amazon for $1.2 billion. Guys, the idea here is that if you're obsessive about adding value to what you're doing, adding value to your customers, innovating, how can you improve their experience? How can you make your customers your fans? Okay, so customers come and go, clients stay with you a little longer, and fans love you. This journey from customer to fans is actually, if everybody start thinking about how can you make your customers your fans, your people that you work with, your fans, things will become a lot natural, a lot more beautiful, a lot more meaningful, a lot more fulfilled, a lot more enthusiastic. I think that's some of the great learning that we had from you guys today. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you very much for coming over for this morning. Really learned a lot. We're going to be dissecting this video into small pieces and sending this out at different channels. And we're going to be tagging you as well. And thank you again. Thank you very much for coming over. Really enjoyed talking to you guys.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate all of you as well. God bless you and good luck.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amit. Thanks, Ronald. Thanks, Marco.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
You guys. I had a lot of questions for you, but maybe in a separate email.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to connect with all of you offline too.
Yeah, same with you, Ronald. All right.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Have a great week. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.